So is that when you decided to steal DMX's rhyme book?
Well, here's the thing with that. No, this is the thing with X, right?
Right.
This was ironic.
Because you met DMX in jail.
Yeah, I love
rest in peace,
X. I
Killer
love
B.
X.
Rest in
I
peace,
love
X.
X, but here's the thing. I'm an intellectual. DMX is not an intellectual. DMX is a great rapper. Great rapper.
Right.
But when we met, it wasn't even a battle. We were just exchanging verses. And I had nothing for him, to be totally honest with you, till I did that. And when I did that, 2 verses of that, everybody, you know how ignorant people are, right?
Mm.
They egged it on laughing at him. Like, oh! Because no one heard nothing like that in 88.
Right.
Can you imagine that? 88? So, and I wrote Spellbound. This is how real this shit goes. Ja Carney, the one that knocked Suge out, I lived with them in Brownsville in 85 when I was writing it. So all of them heard Spellbound before I met him. So him claiming that he came up with it, it's not true. If you hear his bars and he goes, another MC tried to beat IGE, but he went to C-A-U-G-H. How do you go to C-A-U-G-H-T? How do you go to cot? It doesn't make sense. Mine makes sense. Like he, let me give him his props. I'm gonna give him his flowers. He's the rapper for his people, for the voice of his people.
Right.
Those are the ones that get high and do that. When people say, oh, he's honorably telling the truth about it, that's not what that is. You know, people like on his level will lie and steal and take whatever they can take to make it theirs.
Now, I gotta stop you there. Because one, he can no longer defend himself.
No, I agree with that.
Right.
I said that. But I know listen to me, I know this for a fact.
Right.
He's not an intellectual. And I'm telling you, it doesn't make no sense when you're writing a rhyme and I'm going through your paraphrases because we're rappers. There's another MC tried to beat I-T-E, but he went to C-A-U-G-H-T. That does not make sense. Whether he could defend it or not, I'm telling you what he rapped about. I'm giving you his bar, and I'm telling you that doesn't make sense. And that disqualifies you saying you wrote this and came up with that. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
You're not an intellectual. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're not dope. I'm not saying you're not a great artist. And I'm saying that don't make sense. And anybody with common sense is going to dial in and go, okay, mine, K Solo's, third party, has paraphrasers supporting it. Alphabets in the coffee pot to keep the spelling perking. You can't, it's something that you. I'm not a GAME. This ain't the SAME, RAPPE, style. It's not even close. I'm NEW for YOU and the CREW, paralyzing vowels. AE, it's not even close.
Right.
So I'm not discrediting him as an artist because great artist, and I was very shocked and I told this to Reggie last night. Reggie said he's one of his favorite actors. And I said, yes, he is. Because he poured pain into his poetry, and I'm not taking anything from him. But K Solo, on that level of an artist, I'm giving him his flowers too.
Now, this was one battle.
It wasn't a battle. We never battled. It was just two people.
Just ciphering.
Not even that. Just exchange for, oh, that's nice, man. That's nice. That's what it was. But our culture is so bent on turning us against each other. When we left, it was a battle. It was everything other than it really was. Because I liked him when I left.
Right.
It was like, yo, man, you dope too. And we both came in the world and made it, and it turns into that. And I never understood it.
So when you saw him like slinging bars at you and saying certain things,
I had to leave it alone. I couldn't respond to that. And I did respond one time, but again, I come from a Bayesian family, and I was not allowed to have this discussion on this ground with these people that had our presence here. I couldn't do it. I wasn't allowed to even invest any time in it.
Right.
My great grandmother's a Moor. She's a Muslim. His whole camp was Muslim. I couldn't do it. I wasn't allowed to even look at him. I just had to say, hey, it's not true, and keep it moving. And I did. That's what I did. Did
you guys ever see each other?
I seen him at the Apollo one time with Method Man and Red, but again, man, I'm not, he didn't want to have the call. He just kept it moving. It's weird, right? And in our culture, in our subculture that we live in, we have to pit against each other every time. Like, it couldn't be both of us coexist, right? And I couldn't say this to you too. I was flattered that he did a version because I did it for the next generation to like to read and write. It wasn't done for us to fight about that. I didn't want to be looked at as an ignorant person fighting him about something that was taught to teach children how to read. I didn't want to turn it into that because it's going to make our diaspora look even worse. So I didn't want to add any, that's stupid. I don't want to be a part of that. But Spellbound to me was a curse and a blessing. It was so gifted that it's to this. Like, it was like Satan was like, let's get them to kill each other. And I didn't want to be a part of that, especially for something as positive as that song was.
Right.
You know, to have that at the end of it, it was a bad taste in my mouth.
Why would it?
Right, because I didn't do it for that. I did it so, like I said, for the next kids that are having problems, could say, nah, man, let's figure this out. Not be intimidated by, you know, reading and writing in English.
Wow. If that ain't a sign of rehabilitation, I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's true. I wasn't trying to be ignorant because, like I said, when I started figuring out where we trying to go, I didn't want to be in there with him like that. I wanted to cheer him on too.
Knowing what you got in there for, and then being egged on like that.
Right.
And showing restraint for whatever reason.
Right. Well, let me say this to you too. Before he got with the Ruff Ryders, when he was by himself, he wasn't that confident in doing that with what I am. You know, when he got with a different crew of people, then he got a little more confident. But again, I'm not here. Like, how do I look doing that? Like, we're gonna really be out here over spelling words on a record?
Yeah.
Okay. How ignorant is that? And like I said, and I loved his art form and what he did, but I didn't want to be a part of it. I didn't even want to be in the film with that conversation because, you know, I'm not here for that. I come from intelligent people, and I don't want to be looked at as anything other than something that I am.
So how did the rest of the crew feel about it?
Well, that's funny because when his fame,
you know that's going on.
Yeah.
But then your brother Redman.
Well, Reggie stayed loyal to me too, but Reggie, at him being a Def Jam alumni, had to be loyal to that too, which was fine.
Right.
I understand that.
Right.
I never had an issue with that.
But did y'all ever have like conversations about it? Like, look, man, that shit ain't nothing.
No, one time when I think Reggie had said it was his cousin, and I said, "That ain't your cousin," you know. It was a kickback of that, and he, you know, yo, man. I said, man, you know, we had, because that's my brother.
Right.
That ain't your cousin. Be saying that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you already heard, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we had that, but I always take the high road at the end of the day because I'm the older one, and I always got to be like, all right, I got to spin it. I can't let the boat go down like this because it's gonna make us look crazy. And then when the next generation comes, they got to pick up where we left off. And I'd rather run the ball in the end zone so they can celebrate when they're picking up.